So then, the first topic, definitions. Next, cost auditors, eligibility, qualifications, disqualifications and appointment, resignation, rotation, remuneration, removal, rights and duties, liabilities. Section 139, 148. Section 139 to 148. These provisions will discuss related with cost auditors or auditors rules and regulations, right? So provide for qualification, disqualification, appointment, removal, rights and duties and liabilities of company auditors. Company auditors to be read with companies auditors rules 2014. Here they told company auditors, okay, and these things have to be read with audit and audit rules 2014. Some of the rules discussed here, and only some of the rules discussed here, not full and okay. Section 148(5) ఏం చెప్తుంది, provides the provisions applicable to statutory auditors. Section 148(5), section 148 subsection 5 specifies or provides or tells about statutory auditors rules and regulations. Statutory auditors will also apply to the cost auditors. So whatever the provisions will apply to the statutory auditors, same provisions will applicable for cost auditors. Section 148(5) చెప్తుంది. Section 148(5)లో చెప్పారు. నెక్స్ట్ కాస్ట్ ఆడిటర్స్ ఎలిజిబిలిటీ. కాస్ట్ ఆడిటర్స్ ఎలిజిబిలిటీ ఏంటి? వాట్ ఈస్ కాస్ట్ ఆడిటర్స్ ఎలిజిబిలిటీ? స్పెసిఫిక్గా కాస్ట్ ఆడిటర్ గురించి చెప్తున్నారు ఇక్కడ. ఎలిజిబిలిటీ క్రైటీరియా అండర్ సెక్షన్ 141 ఈజ్ అబౌట్ ఎలిజిబిలిటీ. 141 section 141 tells about, section 141 covers the provisions related with eligibility of cost auditors of Companies Act 2013, read with Rule 10 of the Companies Audit and Auditors Rules 2014. Section 148 of the Companies Act 2013 will tells about the same thing, cost auditor related things only. The following persons are not eligible for appointment as cost auditor. They simply giving negative list. డైరెక్ట్గా నెగిటివ్ లిస్ట్ ఇచ్చి ఈ కండిషన్ సాటిస్ఫై చేస్తే వాడు అప్లికబుల్ కాదు, ఈ కండిషన్ సాటిస్ఫై చేయకపోతే, అంటే ఈ కండిషన్స్లో ఏమైనా ఫాలో కాకపోతే వాడు ద కాస్ట్ ఆడిటర్ ఈజ్ ఎలిజిబుల్ ఫర్ అపాయింటింగ్ కాస్ట్ ఆడిటర్ అని చెప్పేసి ఇచ్చారు. నెగిటివ్ లిస్ట్ ఇచ్చారు డైరెక్ట్. బికాస్ నెగిటివ్ లిస్ట్ ఇవ్వడం చాలా ఈజీ, బికాస్ దేర్ ఈజ్ సమ్ లిమిటెడ్ పాయింట్స్. ఇన్ కేస్ ఇలా ఉండాలి అలా ఉండాలని చెప్పకపోతే ఇలా ఉండకూడదు అని చెప్పేస్తే కదా, ఇలా ఉండకూడదు అని చెప్పేస్తే రిమైనింగ్ థింగ్స్ ఇలా ఉంటే వచ్చేస్తుంది అని చెప్పేసి ఇలా ఉంటే కాస్ట్ ఆడిటర్ అవ్వచ్చు, పాజిటివ్ లిస్ట్లో తీసుకోవడం అంతే. సో దే గివెన్ హియర్ నెగిటివ్ లిస్ట్ అబౌట్ cost auditor. The person are not eligible for appointing cost auditor if a body corporate, however, a body corporate is not liable. However, limited liability partnership registered under the Limited Liability Partnership Act 2018 can be appointed. Body corporate is not eligible to appoint as cost auditor or company auditor, but limited liability partnership which is registered under the Limited Liability Partnership Act 2018 is eligible for appointing as cost auditor. First అయిపోయింది. నెక్స్ట్ 141(3)(a), 141 subsection 3(a). నెక్స్ట్ an officer or employee of the company, an officer కావచ్చు, employee of a company కావచ్చు, is not eligible to appoint as an auditor under section 141(3)(b), second b point, subsection subclause d. Right, an officer or employee of a company is Section 141 3b. Person who is a partner, the person in the here in the sense the person who is appointing as an auditor, a person who is a partner or who is in the employment of the officer, who is employment of an officer, ఎవరైతే ఆఫీసర్ ఉన్నారో తనకి ఎంప్లాయీగా ఉండడం లేదా he is the employees of the company, ఆఫీసర్ డైరెక్టర్కి ఎంప్లాయీగా ఉండడం లేదా he is also one of the employee of a company directly or indirectly. Section 141 3c tells about not eligible a person who is a partner, who is in employment of an officer or employee of a company. Next, D point, a person who or his relative partner is holding any security. The auditor is a person who is appointing. His relative is holding the shares in whatever the company that person is appointing. Such person is appointing as cost auditor. In that case, the cost auditor request the relative to comes under the purview of the provisions. What does those provisions under? The person who or his relative or partner is holding any security or interest in the company, any of its subsidiary or any of its holding or associate company or subsidiary company or subsidiary of such holding company, he is not eligible. A person who is a relative, a person who or he is a relative or a partner holding securities in the company is not eligible. Relatives of any partner of the firm holding any security of interest in the company, the face value exceeding 1 lakh is not eligible. Relatives of any partner of the firm holding any security of or interest in the company, relative of any partner of the firm has 5 partners. In those 5 partners, one of the partner X has a relative. Such a relative is holding an interest in that company. In such case, the face value, whatever the shares holded by such relative is exceeding 1 lakh. In that case, the total firm is not eligible. The total network firm is not eligible. If such specified person was resigned, he is resigned. In such a case, that firm can eligible to appoint. Right. Next point E completed. Point F, a person who is indebted or such person who is appointing as an auditor is having an indebt, in the sense some obligations to pay to the company, liability to pay to the company. For company it is receivables from such person who is indebted to the company or its subsidiary or its holding or its associate company or a subsidiary of such holding company for an amount exceeding 5 lakhs. Such indebtedness is exceeding 5 lakhs. In that case, such person is not eligible to appoint as an auditor, cost auditor, under section 141 3d clause 2 rule 10 subsection 2 of the company's audit and auditors rules 2014. Point F we had completed now. Next, point G, person who has given any guarantee. The first case is about having an interest in the company. The second case is about indebtedness to the company. And third case is about the person is giving a guarantee or provided a security in connection with indebtedness. In case such person is having indebtedness, person who is giving any guarantee that whatever the person is appointed for the Auditor is giving a guarantee provided any security in connection with indebtedness. Any third person, the third person is having indebtedness with the company. On behalf of the third person, this whatever the fellow who was appointing as a cost auditor is giving a guarantee in such a case. What is the thing? To the company or its subsidiary or its holding or associate company or subsidiary of such holding company for an amount exceeding 1 lakh, for an amount exceeding 1 lakh, for indebtedness 5 lakhs, for personal interest of relative, the relative is having a personal interest, in such a case 1 lakh will be there. In case of guarantee also 1 lakh will be there limit. Remember this. And next point is about a person or a firm who, whether directly or indirectly, has a business relationship. Right. Next point is about H. We are discussing a person or a firm who, whether directly or indirectly, has a business relationship with the company or its subsidiary or its holding or its associate company or subsidiary of such holding company or associate company, section 141(3), rule 10, subsection 4 of Companies Audit and Auditors Rules 2014. It's not eligible. The person is having, whatever the person is appointing as a company auditor, he is having directly or indirectly a business relationship with the company. In such case, such whatever the appointing person is having some special purpose. So next, I point. Before H point is about the person is directly or indirectly has a business relationship with the company and its subsidiary or its holding or its associate company or its subsidiary of such holding company or associate company. In such case, he is not eligible to appoint as cost auditor. Next, a person whose relative is a director. The person he is selected for appointing as a cost auditor and his relative is a director or is in the employment of a company as a director or key managerial person. In such case, he is not eligible. The person is not eligible for appointing cost auditor. Next, J point, person who is in the full-time employment elsewhere, or a person or a partner of the firm holding appointment as its auditor. If such person or persons is at the date of such appointment or reappointment of holding appointment as an auditor for more than 20 companies, if one person is selected, such person is having 20 or more than 20 companies is having auditor, he is appointed for more than 20 companies. In such case, that person is not eligible to appoint as an auditor. Here they given this much 3 lines, big statement, but here the meaning is about simple, is about the appointed auditor is having more than 20 companies. He is appointed for more than 20 companies as a cost auditor or company auditor. In such a case, he is not eligible to appoint 21st company. Okay. Next, a person who have been convenienced by the court, convicted by a court of offense. The person who is convicted by a court of offense, misleading, or done any fraud or misleading, misrepresentation or anything involving a fraud, prior period of 10 years is not elapsed. He has convicted as a fraud, and after convicted, such period was not completed 10 years. In those situations, he is not eligible to appoint as a cost auditor. After completion of the 10 years, he may appoint for some companies for the cost auditor. Any person whose subsidiary or associate company or any other company of an entity is engaged as a date of appointment in providing specified services to the company or its subsidiary company as given below. Some specified services will be there. Those specified services will not provided to such companies by the appointed auditor. In case if he is provided such specified services, then he is not eligible to appoint as an auditor. Those specified services are: first one, A, the person is providing accounting and bookkeeping services is not eligible to do these things. Internal audit services. Next, design and implementation of any financial information system, software like Tally, ERP, GST, Tally ERP 9.0, like that. Actuarial services, valuation services. Actuarial services and valuation services. Investment advisory services. ఆ కంపెనీకి ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్ అడ్వైజరీ సర్వీసెస్ని ప్రొవైడ్ చేయకూడదు. ఇఫ్ he is provided, he is not eligible to appoint as cost auditor. Next, investment banking services. ఆ పర్సన్ ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్ బ్యాంకింగ్ సర్వీసెస్కి సంబంధించిన సర్వీసెస్ ప్రొవైడ్ చేయకూడదు. నెక్స్ట్, రెండరింగ్ ఆఫ్ అవుట్సోర్స్డ్ ఫైనాన్షియల్ సర్వీసెస్. ఈజ్ ఎనీ అవుట్సోర్స్డ్ ఫైనాన్షియల్ సర్వీసెస్ చేస్తే he is not eligible. Next, management services. Management related in the sense administrative purpose or accounting or sales or production or control, quality in check. Based upon this thing, based upon different designations, different functional capacities, the management services, he cannot provide such services. Okay. Next, qualifications. Section 141 of the Companies Act 2013 specifies about the provisions related to Section 141. The following persons should be considered as qualified if qualified for being a company auditor. Person shall be eligible for appointment as an auditor of the company only if he is a chartered accountant. Section 141(1). A firm can also be appointed by its firm name to act as an auditor of a company if majority of the partners are practicing in India and qualified for appointment of as company auditor. Where a firm, including a limited liability partnership, is appointed as the auditor of a company, only the partners who are chartered accountants shall be authorized to act and sign on behalf of the firm. In 3 cases, if these conditions are satisfied, they can appoint. They are qualified. Qualifications for appointing as an auditor. The first one is about he is a chartered accountant. Next, in case of firm, the majority of the partners are into the practice. In case of third, limited liability partnership, the auditor of the company, only the partner who is the chartered accountant shall authorized to act and sign of the firm. In this context, the meaning of the term chartered accountant shall be interpreted based on the provisions of the Chartered Accountants Act 1949 as follows. Chartered accountant means a person who is a member of the institute. A person is a member of the institute if his name appears in the register of the institute. If you are qualified as a chartered accountant or cost accountant, your name will be appear in the register of the institute. How beautiful it is. If assume your name is registered under the institute register, that is our goal. Next, the following person shall be entitled to have his name entered in the register. Shall be entitled to have his name entered in the register. Any person who is a registered accountant or a holder of restricted certificate at the commencement of this act from the starting phase. Any person who has passed such examination and completed such training as may be prescribed for the members of the institute, then he is a qualified person. Right. Any person who has passed the examination for the government diploma in accountancy or an examination recognized as equivalent thereto by the rules for the award of government diploma in accountancy before the commencement of this act and fulfills such conditions as specified by the central government in this behalf. Such persons are eligible to appoint as an auditor. Next, any person who, at the commencement of this act, is engaged in the practice of the accountancy in any state, fulfills such conditions as specified by the central government in this behalf, is eligible. Any person who has passed such other examinations and completed such other training without India as is recognized by the central government or council as being equivalent to the examination and timing prescribed for the members of the institute is eligible. Any person domiciled in India who at the commencement of this act is studying for any foreign examination and is at the same time undergoing training whether within or without India have passed the examination and completes the training within a 5 years of after the commencement of this year. After the commencement of the year, within the 5 years, he has qualified such examination. Then in those cases, he will be considered as qualified person. He is eligible in order to become the member of the institute. The aforesaid persons must reside in India, must be in the practice in India. For any person outside India with all other required qualifications, the central government or the institute may impose additional conditions. Moreover, any qualified person will have to formally apply for the membership to the institute with the requisite fees. His name will be included in the register only if the application is accepted. Next, we are talking about disqualification. The section will tells about section 141.3 read with rule 10 of the company's audit and auditors rules 2014. The following persons shall not be eligible for appointment as an auditor of a company: a body corporate other than limited liability partnership registered under the Limited Liability Partnership Act. These provisions we had already discussed here. The same provisions of qualifications and disqualifications, and again they are given here disqualifications. I think these two lines are same. Any officer or employee of the company same. Person who is a partner, who is an employment or officer of the employee same. A person who or his relative or a partner holding security interest same, is having indebtedness is same, is having his guarantee same. Okay, indebtedness is about 5 lakhs. A person of a firm who is directly indirectly having business relationship also same point. Next, here they given some note for this purpose. The term business relationship shall be construed as any transaction entered into for a commercial purpose. For this purpose, the term business relationship shall be construed as any transaction entered into for a commercial purpose, except commercial transactions which are in the nature of professional services permitted to be rendered by an auditor or audit firm under the Companies Act 2013 or the Chartered Accountants 1949. The rules or regulations made under those acts. Right. Commercial transactions which are in the ordinary course of business of a company at the arm's length price, like sale of products and services to the auditor as a customer. Person whose relative is a director, an employee of a company as a director, key manager person is not eligible. Person who directly indirectly rendered any services referred to section 144 is not eligible. 144 is prohibited services. Appointment. Next is about appointment. Section 148(3) of Companies Act 2013. Cost audit shall be conducted by the cost accountant, who shall be appointed by the board. No person appointed under Section 139 as an auditor of a company shall be appointed for conducting the audit of cost records. The auditors who are appointed shall comply with the cost accounting standards. For a cost audit, cost auditing standards will comply as per Rule 6 of Companies Cost Records and Audit Rules 2014 as amended. A category of companies specified in Rule 3, Category 3 companies. The threshold limit laid down in Rule 4 shall within 180 days of commencement of every financial year appoint a cost auditor. Only under section 148 the persons are appointed will be eligible to do cost audit. The first one is about category. Some companies will be there specified in Rule 3. Some rules they are specified. Threshold they are specified in Rule 4. So within 180 days of the commencement of every financial year, they must appoint cost auditor, provided that before such appointment is made, the written consent of the cost auditor to such appointment and a certificate from him or it as provided in Sub-Rule 1A shall be obtained. Sub-Rule 1A shall be obtained. The cost auditor appointed under Sub-Rule 1 shall be submit a certificate that the individual of the firm, as the case may be, is eligible for appointment and is not disqualified for appointment under the Act of the Cost and Works Accountants Act 1959 and the rules and resignation made thereunder. The individual or the firm, as the case may be, satisfies the criteria provided Section 141 of the Companies Act so far as may be applicable. Next segment. The proposed appointment is within the limits laid down by the authority of the Act. A list of proceedings against the auditor, cost auditor, audit firm or any partner or any partner of the audit firm pending with respect to the professional matters of the conduct as disclosed in the certificate is true or false. Okay. Every company referred to shall inform cost auditor concerned his appointment duties, notice such appointment with the central government within a period of 30 days of the boarding appointment. Within the period of 180 days of the commencement of the financial year, whenever it is earlier. Through electronic mode. Next, designation and rotation will be there. These things will be remuneration and rights and duties. We had this. We will complete in next session. Appointment. From appointment we will see. Okay, there.